Hi Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. This reading is going to be for you as far as what will be unfolding over the next 3 days. We're starting off with Queen of Pentacles. The next card that we have out is the Lovers. I'm seeing Five of Wands flipping out, reversed. When we have Five of Wands upright, it's like something that's being worked out, but it can feel like it still hasn't been resolved. I'm seeing Five of Wands as something seeming like it is resolved now. For a small number of you, it can be a problem that's coming back up that maybe wasn't resolved before. I feel like it's going to be one of those two things. I'm not seeing this be like a new issue that's popping up. This can be like you've been trying to work something out and now it's actually being worked out, or this can be something that was a problem before that wasn't fully addressed that's coming back up. I want to see more and get to the bottom of this. Having the Queen of Pentacles and then having the Lovers here, this can be actually somebody that you are connecting with. The more that I'm looking at Five of Wands, I almost feel like something is being figured out now that maybe isn't so much of an issue any longer. Like things are coming back even to a space of love and a space of connection, and maybe that wasn't what was going on before. Yeah, I see the notion of wanting to fix something here. You know, even what this reminds me of, it feels like something that may have been addressed and then things moving the way that they needed to be. And it can be like somebody, maybe you had an issue with somebody, okay? And there was some type of problematic like action or behavior, maybe something that felt inconsiderate to the relationship, because we have the Lovers here. The way that the energy was coming out, it almost felt like something that was a problem before and maybe was attempted to be worked on before, and even could have felt like maybe was resolved. Like someone could have fallen off and then the same issue may have come back up. I get this being from a place of, it can be like a lack of awareness, a lack of presence, a lack of self-awareness, like a lack of paying attention. It would be themes related to that, kind of like a mindless energy and more of a like acting or doing something impulsive, like not really thinking. Even can be a little bit reactive emotionally as well. Maybe it feels like there's an undoing, or like even an uncomposed energy, which definitely is interesting to see when we start off with Queen of Pentacles. But maybe that's what's needed here, because Pentacles will ground fire and water, which I'm seeing with Knight of Wands and Queen of Cups. This looks like something is going on within a relationship of yours. I'm seeing it feel kind of all over the place, where there can be a lot of different feelings and thoughts and emotions that are coming up, and you may be trying to sort this out. But there can be so many different things that are going on that it can have it feel difficult to figure out like how to move forward and maybe even how to address this. And I wonder too if this is not the first time that this has happened. This feels like something that maybe is a problem popping back up again, or just an instance or a situation that you've seen before within the dynamic. Ending this part of the spread with the Hermit feels like there's actually, even though we have the Lovers here, which speaks about the converging, the coming together within a relationship, having us end over here with Hermit can be actually taking a step back. Why? Because of needing to understand one's personal emotions having to do with what's going on, I think, within the relationship. Because this can feel like the returning of some type of tension, and then maybe it not initially being handled in the best way, or even feeling something coming up and being like, I don't want to do that, and then having to take that step back to not be reactive or to not be impulsive. To actually take a step back and think. I'm feeling an activation on the right side of the crown, which makes sense, because if there's something that immediately you want to sort of go in towards and do something, but having Hermit here would suggest taking that step back. This is going to be about sort of organizing what one is feeling and being able to see sort of the bigger picture and have this bigger knowing and understanding of what's really at play here in a much larger way. In a way that hasn't necessarily fallen into place yet or been seen yet. What it looks like too, the way that the Hierophant card was coming out, so this is the Hierophant upright, but it was sort of coming out like this, and it feels like if this Hierophant card is tipping, this can be connected with like your belief systems and your values. There can be something about having to like dump that out to actually like review and take a closer look, especially because of this confusion being there. Because I wonder if this has to do with like what's being held on to. And this conflict being just a vibrational replica, kind of like an echo of one's own, it can be belief systems, but when it starts getting in the way of seeing what's actually going on, and it can be tripping you up a bit here. This reading feels kind of abstract to me so far. I do believe that things are going to fall into place. I almost feel like we're actively working through some type of math equation here with the energy. So I know it's going to amount to something. Stuff having to do with commitments can be popping up, but it doesn't just have to be a commitment like, I said that I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow through. It can be a commitment to beliefs that you have, to ways of thinking that you have, to habits, to ways of doing things. And that can be something that's coming into question here. Because with this Knight of Wands reversed and the Ten of Swords, Knight of Wands reversed can be a couple different things. Knight of Wands reversed can be a lack of courage. Knight of Wands reversed can sometimes be like a big lack of self-control too, a lack of self-awareness, like really not playing the tape to the end. It can be behaving impulsively, and then sort of what we have to deal with because of that with the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is kind of feeling like the outcome of something that was done without there being a lot of thought behind it, and more action or like reaction, less thought behind it, and then having to sort of sit within that and feel the way one is feeling. And this bringing up confusion into the dynamic. But then I'm seeing Ace of Swords. There was a Leo reading that I did that will have come out yesterday. And in the Leo reading, Ten of Swords was connected with the Ace of Swords, and we are seeing that again. So just putting that out there. This is a different deck that I'm using, but it's the same little setup with these cards. Hermit and Four of Swords is going to be definitely pulling back, taking a break, taking time to think, to reflect, to recharge, to evaluate, especially where one is standing within their personal life, even individually. So even though I'm seeing there be a topic that's coming up that's related to relationship stuff, I'm also seeing there be a focus on the individual, and that being maybe even where all of the focus is needed for right now, even though like maybe hanging suspended in the balance, a relationship is there as well. But I wonder if it just confuses things to try to have everything all together, and you may need to step back into your individuality to sort things out and then go back into things. Like you need to know sort of where you stand and where you are with things, and once you're doing whatever you need to do for yourself individually, then being able to enter back into a relationship dynamic and figure things out from there. And know how to move forward, because it even feels like something wasn't moving forward. Like it feels like something that had been maybe a repetitive issue that was coming about because it wasn't being resolved properly. That now that I'm putting the cards upright, this looks like, personally, I'm going through a time that is feeling a bit, there's a lot of stuff that I'm feeling, and I'm having a hard time understanding all of it. I'm not in a place where this feels organized. This feels like a disorganized way of feeling things, and I'm not at the point of organizing it yet. So right now I'm in the process of working something out. Then as I'm getting further and further, the Ten of Swords feels like it indicates that process being concluded. This took a lot for me to figure out, and now finally I'm being liberated. I'm being freed from that, and I feel like I'm in a place where I can actually, rather than it feeling like this water where there's all this, where there's all this crashing and there are these waves going on, and it doesn't feel nice to be sitting in the water of everything that I'm feeling. Things sort of slowing down, settling down, calming, so you can just sort of wade into what it is that you're feeling. And this can be something that feels relaxing rather than something where you feel like you're thrashing all around, and that taking more and more and more energy. There's something here about calming things, slowing things down when it's at the height of chaos, sort of bringing it down to things being more tranquil and more easy to like wade into it and sort of float in there. And that's when you organize. That's when you can make sense of the Seven of Cups. That's when you start to put things together and you start to understand what all of this means. You understand the patterns. Because before, it feels like I'm experiencing mass chaos emotionally. And then as we get to the end of this, it feels like now I'm starting to see the patterns within this, and it's beginning to make sense for me. And I'm actually understanding and putting together how I'm feeling and just making sense of that, emotional sense of that. Which isn't something that you do with the thinking mind. This is something that you have to feel into. And that's why you have to like step into that part of yourself that goes from just switching to the feeling of this. And then you can allow the relationship and allow this experience to be your teacher and teaching you how to move forward in a way that truly aligns with your core. Feel like you have a sense of clarity because you are understanding things, because you are being with it. And then that's when things fall into place. And that's when you also feel a sense of wholeness and connectedness with yourself as well. And that's even going to benefit you practically. There could have been a conflict of values with you and this person, or a conflict of commitment or allegiance. This can be a clashing of Venus energy, among other things. And there also being a need to sort of face this head on with the Knight of Wands, to just address it, to face it, and allow the process to continue. And what I'm seeing us end with, having Hermit and having Four of Swords, this feels like before, what was going on with the process was that things were still sort of shaking and moving all around. Now with Hermit and Four of Swords, this feels like things settling down so you can actually look around and see what's going on and make sense of it. I'm seeing Gemini, I'm seeing Taurus, I'm also seeing Virgo. Some of you too, this was like some type of conflict that could have, like something painful can take place based off of this. Like it can be a clashing that's happening or an issue that's happening, and then it concluding in a way that feels very challenging. And then recognizing there's a need to sort of sit with what one is feeling and to make sense of all of it, and to, rather than being more active within this and moving things around, to let stuff still and calm and to sort of survey. And then that's when the answers come. It's not when everything is chaotic and all over the place. When that's happening, it's like the change into stillness is needed, which can feel difficult, especially when something that can be like emotionally eruptive, or just like a bunch of stuff coming up, or this like eliciting maybe some big emotions within you, it can be more difficult to slow things down and to calm things down and to settle things, rather than to go into a reactive space. But that actually being what's needed, the slowing and the settling to actually tune in. It's like if you're playing a bunch of different radio stations at the same time, it's going to be really difficult to hear clearly what's going on, and this allows you to tune into one station and also get like a very crisp signal, rather than there being all of this static on the line. And this can also end with like a little bit of pulling back, a little bit of maybe alone time, a little bit of let me individually reflect and to sit with this and to think about this, to think this over. Breakthrough within a relationship that's happening, making sense of something that feels confusing, conflict, things ending maybe in a way that you didn't want them to, at least in that episode anyway. And then figuring out how to move forward where it feels like there's a sense of wisdom with how one is moving forward. And motivated by truth as well with the Hierophant. There's going to be an emotional breakthrough I'm seeing too. So that what was once very disorganized experience being felt then becomes something that makes just absolute sense. So it goes from something feeling very blurry to being like focused in the most intense clarity possible. Feelings related to relationship. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.